type stuff. Really, it was all through all of these walls. However, you can see this side doesn't quite reach. Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. As you can see, our family project, if you will, is redoing a small house that we bought. I think the house is almost 1,000 square foot, so 900 and something to be exact. Roughly 500 down, 500 up. So not a very big house. So not a heck of a lot of work, but that's good because this is really just a starter, a trial run perhaps for us to see if this is something we really like, enjoy doing, can handle. It's something that's, if it's really worth it for us or not. Thankfully, it was a fairly cheap house that we ended up purchasing it for. And so really to us, it felt like while it's overall going to be and is a significant amount of money to us, reality is it doesn't feel like a high risk investment just yet. So I don't feel as pressured for time as many people may feel. Anyway, I wasn't really going to do a YouTube channel about this. It hadn't really crossed my mind in the beginning, so I didn't really take much of a grand tour of the before house. I have some pictures and some slides. I sound like an old fart. I've got some pictures and some short video clips that I was able to take at the beginning, or at least roughly in the beginning. I'm going to take a quick couple minutes just to show you what those are, what the house did look like, and then we'll just start with some demo. I think we're going to start upstairs, and then we'll get to a couple other things. So thanks for watching. So this is the house when I bought it. I didn't take any really good quality photos, sadly, of it. What you can't really tell that the whole roof itself is sagging, the bridge is sagging, the little roof over top of the door is falling off. This is inside the house now. Those are the doors. Quick overview. All the sheetrock was not done by me. That was all kind of there when I got there, half finished by whoever was messing around with this beforehand. You can see that the floor is torn up as well. That was also not me. I bought the house that way. It was that way because of moisture issues. As we move up the stairs, here you can see their wonderful paint colors, black. Also should note that the ceiling height was, I think it was like 6'2" maybe. And so a lot of this, you're like close to skimming your head. You have to kind of duck as you go into the doorways. Thankfully I'll be able to bring that up to closer to 8 foot now. This is the bathroom. Nothing crazy, nothing great, nothing spectacular. I suppose it worked. This is bedroom 1, the purple bedroom. You can see as we're taking down the ceiling, there was like 2 or 3 layers of ceiling. This is looking out into the bathroom from the purple room. This is a little bit more after more demo occurred, the ceiling coming down. This is the red room, the second one. I don't have as many pictures, but it was basically the same exact thing. As you move upstairs, this is the attic with a bunch of blown-in insulation that I had to take out. Those are 2x4 trusses, which were half of them were cracked or warped or broken, and so there was a lot to be repaired there for sure. You might have water problems in your roof if your insulation is frozen. So you probably notice I started the work in the winter, so that was the frozen insulation, and So repairing these joists was a pain in the butt because there was a snow load on top. So trying to repair them was pretty tough. I had to push them all back into place. You can see that I used 2x10s and had to jack them into place. I used 2 separate jacks. I think there's a video of that kind of coming up here. But what was there before those 2x4s? They were rough cut, so they were full 2-inch, full 4-inch. But again, most of them were sagging, if not cracked, and so some of them had some legs sticking down onto these ceiling 2x6s. But as you can see, they're all on their face. None of them are actually really doing much of anything. They really seem to just be there to hang the ceiling on. Some of those were 2x6s, some of them were 4x4 posts. This is me up in the attic. You can see it's partially done. It probably took me 1.5 to 2 hours to get just one of these joists in, especially during the winter. They just move so slow. I move so slow trying to figure out what was a good method to do it with. So I did take one video of me trying to put one of the joists up. It was a really long video, so I had to hack a bunch of it down. But I would take the 2x10, they were 12 footers, cut the edges off to the right angle, pick them up, stick it up to the rim, and then somehow manhandle each one up into place. Get it to set there. Then I take a drill, screw it into place, get this lower jack kind of set, get the second upper jack, which was more like a car jack, angled in to push it to straighten up the 2x4. Climb up top, climb down, climb up top, climb down. That's why it took so long. Just to try to do it cautiously. I think there were 22 in all, and it's just that the one I ended up recording was the only one that actually fell during the process of trying to put it up. That's because I was wrestling with this lower jack. Kept messing up on me, so it was a little bit of pain. As soon as I pulled that screw out, it all kind of came down. Thankfully it didn't hit me. I went back through and added some blocking, of course. Probably should have added it as I went, but I just didn't have the material at the time, and I just wanted to keep moving forward. So. This is it now. So the fun part about old houses, especially this old house, what I'm learning is the framing. Uh, Man, I have so many questions with the framing and who is doing what and why are they doing it. It's kind of beside the point at this point. Now I just got to kind of move forward. You can tell if you know much of anything about framing, these windows are not framed incorrectly at all. There's no header. I think this is supposed to be a header. This is like a 4x4 inch beam type deal. It's not connecting at all here. There's no studs running along the edge of the window that those are supposed to catch on. Those I think are just nailed in from the side. Sorry, this camera's weird. This vertical stud, is actually resting on absolutely nothing. There's supposed to be a header here for it to rest on. Not that I know a heck of a lot about framing. I'm not a framer, I'm not a professional, but I know some of the basics at least. But literally any weight that this would hold from the top is just being pushed to this horizontal piece, which is just like a one, excuse me, a 1x3, maybe a 1x4. And you can see that runs kind of the whole length, but there's nothing there. Again, there's no studs on the side. Similarly, you can see over here at this window, it's basically the same thing. There's no header. In fact, there's less of a header here than there was on the other side. There's another vertical post that is supported by absolutely nothing. There's no, excuse me. There's no, again, no studs running along either side, or I assume the bottom. I haven't opened that up yet. What was fun about this wall is I was not ready nor expecting whatever this is. I'm under the assumption that it's some kind of doorway. It seems about the right height. It goes all the way to the floor. Some kind of doorway here at one point that somebody wanted to close off and frame in. Again, dude, if this was a door wasn't framed in right. They just hacked the vertical studs here and here, gave it no header at all. So both of those vertical studs are supported by absolutely nothing. And you can see that this one here isn't even truly vertical. And I don't know how many of them actually are, but that one is easily visually pushed over. Probably not so much by support as much as just when it was installed, I would assume. I'm interested. Let me throw a glove on. I'm interested. I got the lighting all screwed up. I really should be doing it from this side, but I'm right-handed, so I'm interested what's behind here. Insulation is good. We have some insulation here. This is the only spot in the entire upstairs that, other than the ceiling, had blown-in insulation. This is the only spot in the entire upstairs that there's any insulation that I've found at all. So that's great. That is great. Looks like they covered it up with some pressed chipboard. That isn't too bad, but wish I could do something more about that. Have to get from the outside. So that's not a nearsighted project. Yeah, so again, there's supposed to be a header for here, and there's not. There's supposed to be studs on the sides just for that header to sit on, so it doesn't have to sit on the door frame. There's not. I'm kind of wondering what in the world this door was too, because if you go outside, like we're up on the second floor, like that's, I don't know, that's 10 feet down at least. And so I don't know if there was some kind of steps leading down outside, if there was some sort of, I'm thinking maybe it was an old carriage house, an old barn of some kind, and so maybe that was just a, I don't know, some sort of chute you threw your hay out of or something. But right where I am located anyway, there's not near any kind of farmland. I'm kind of in town, so that's why I'm thinking maybe it's some kind of carriage house type deal. But yeah, so fun things. I know another thing that I wanted to say, note about framing. I haven't done it on this wall yet. This wall yet. You can see, if I turn the light, you can see how originally I had only taken down the first 10 inches to a foot, ripped out that so I could put basically it's the edge beam, so if you will. And so when I was doing that, my plans called for four bolts for every stud, 4 screws, but the screws are more like lag bolts. So 4 for every stud, and that would spread the weight, spread the load in between each of the joists all the way down. And so that's what I was doing. And as I began to rip open the wall, once I realized there was no insulation, but it's more on the other side I noticed this, and I realized later that it was on this side too. Yeah, I'm supposed to put 4 here, and I'll put them back, but I have to do something, because if you notice, this beam sits on this, which is only an inch thick, which sits on nothing at all. So I have to go through and re-support those, put some sisters on it, sister them up. You can see like over here, I've already done that with a few of them. This one specifically was kind of rotten, and so I had to put one next to it, and then I kind of spread the load with these bolts. Different bolts I ran out of bolts, I had to buy different ones because I didn't want to run all the way to the Home Depot to get new ones. Home Depot's like 45 minutes away. So yeah, now I have to go back through and love this up, and then you'll also notice the studs that come up from below don't reach all the way to the top. So I realized that, and then I'll have to go back and put a 4th one. Ignore that. I just ignore that. So now I have to go back and give this. I'm really stuck with the camera. I have to come back and give this some love too, to help support that. Where did I do that? Over here. I did that over here somewhere. I think it's behind all this wood, so I'm gonna just, you can trust me on that. But that's not the only place. Some of these along this wall, you can see, are gonna have to have some help, because there's only like a foot of overlap, which is kind of concerning. That's not good. That's not enough. Especially with you think about these end walls, as the wind kind of comes and pushes in on the wall. Not only is there a load vertically kind of going down from the roof, but there's also the kind of a pushing, a twisting happening. My dad's an engineer, and so he's trying to explain this to me, so I'm really only explaining what I think I might have a general idea of how it works. And so this here is going to act as like a fulcrum, where this is potentially bends over, but if we can kind of extend this down, we help reduce that chance at least. So that's the hope. That's the idea. Again, building, redoing, redeeming, remodeling, whatever you want to call it, old houses is always fun. Well, I think that's about all I've got for this video. It's a quick introduction to the house and what I've been doing, what I've been up to. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and hit the like button if you did. Subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching.